Yes, is coming to you from the world famous Comedy Store during our Windy Weekend. The Windy Weekend. Say it right now.
This week's podcast is at the world famous Comedy Store at the closing of the Windy Weekend.
No, it was the opening. This week's, listen, I'll show you how to do it. This week's podcast is coming to you from the world famous Comedy Store. This week's podcast is coming from the world famous Comedy Store during the Windy Weekend. And then maybe that'll be good enough. This week's podcast is coming, and then everybody charge him and try to hurt him.
Try to hurt me.
Okay, I don't know. Do you want him to piss on you or try to hurt you?
Get those dicks out, guys. Got my dick out.
Fans that pay
It's
you
ready.
what to do. You do your
I get hurt.
Shut up. Do your job.
Windy Weekend's over. We don't care now. You're already
Do your job.
Okay, so is anybody in the shot?
Tear his jacket apart to give
I
us
just-
You know what? That's the Armenians. Always violence. Always violence with the Armenians.
Hey, Don, just scoot to the side. All right,
Okay.
Harry.
Alright, so guys, you know what you're going to say? Say it one time before we do it.
This week's This week's
Stop everybody quiet.
Shut
up!
This week's podcast is coming to you live at take 3. This week's podcast is coming to you live at the world famous Comedy Store on the Windy Weekend.
And then everybody come in. Big three, big three, big three, big three. And I'll do it for a little while, and I'll hey, what's going on here? Perry, what are you doing? And then everybody, shut up. And then everybody say, he's trying to make a promo. And I'll say, you can do nothing right. And then we'll push it. All right, so ready? And maybe back up so you can see his ridiculous outfit too. Start out, and then
Start
back
with your
up.
mouth like your shirt.
No, okay, no, you know what? Get in here and then take a step back. Everyone stay out of their way. Are we ready here?
Yeah.
All right, here we go. And, I'm sorry, I'm on your way. And action.
This week's promo.
You stupid fuck.
This week's
Stop, give him a chance, here we go. This week's podcast,
No,
Wait.
clean cut.
This week's podcast comes to you from the world famous Comedy Store during the Windy Weekend.
This week's podcast comes to you at the world famous Comedy Store during the Windy Weekend.
Big three, 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 big three.
Hey, what's going on here? Wait a minute, stop! What's going on here? Trying to make a promo, Perry, you do nothing right. So join us this week and every week from the Big Three for the Big Three podcast at Simply Done the Podcast Network. Goodbye.
Hurry up,
What did you just do? Did you take an arm to Mary Jane?
No.
Okay.
Another woman beaten.
All right, well then that's it right there. All right, guys, thank you very much. Now, for those of you that heard the Simply Done the podcast a few weeks ago, where Mary Jane did an interview with Robert Aprovaya, he's going to be on downstairs very shortly.